Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's do this. There's the curve. Oh, hi. John, can you see? I don't know if there's an issue. Can you guys see the video, or is it not working? I can't really tell right now. Delay. So, okay. Just let me know if you can see. Do you guys have any questions about the homework? Homework 12, that is. If you have any questions over the homework, just write what question or problem number you'd like help with, and we'll come back to that. So there is the response. You're super confused with the chapter. So, John, this chapter is really working with 1C and 1D. What part, John, are you confused with? It would be good if you can kind of figure out what part of the question you're confused with, so then I can actually, I could even make a video for that if you have specific questions, okay? So, hey guys, hey Jackson. So, we're just going to go over, okay, 12.3. Okay. Like specifically in those sections, if you can bring it up, I will address it. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's fine. If you have to go eat lunch, yeah, I know there's a test, so I'm not gonna. Hopefully, this lecture will be pretty short, but I don't want to go too quickly. So we're on 12.5. So John, I will. What is it? I will go over 12.3 and 12.4, but you kind of need to give me some specific questions, okay? If you guys need to, I could we could do a Zoom call about it, and then work through it that way. Okay. There's the test. Oh, dear Lord. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So just to remind you, when you have two fractions, if you have two fractions like this, you can multiply the top and you just multiply the bottom. So you get 15 over 28. So I just multiplied the top, got 15, multiplied the bottom, got 28. Same thing is true with rational. So if A over B times C over D, well, this is just going to be A times C over B times D. Okay? Basically, that you multiply the top, stays top, and you multiply the bottom, that goes on the bottom. Now, we do need to know that B cannot equal 0 or D cannot equal 0. So our denominator cannot be 0. Okay? Okay. Bye, Jackson. So that's multiplication. Now, oh, hold on. You gotta spray something. It's nasty. Apparently, you can't use the desk over and over again without wiping it down. So, multiplication, rather simple. We just multiply the top, multiply the bottom. and then we're going to simplify after we multiply, okay? Okay, so division is going to be, so if we, let's say we had 5 over 7 divided by 3 over 4. What would happen is we would rewrite this as 5 over 7 times 4 over 3, okay? So when you divide by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. Because 5 times 4 is 20 over 21, okay? Or, if we have some a over b divided by c over d, what's going to happen is a over b is going to stay the same, and then we're going to multiply by d over c. So then a times d is a times d, and the bottom is b times c. Now in this situation, our denominator at the beginning, b and d, can't be 0, but also c, because at the end it's on the denominator, it can't also equal 0. So the only thing that could ever equal 0 in this whole thing of division is a. A is the only one that's allowed to be. And remember, if it can't equal a number, that is excluded. Okay, that is an excluded value. Okay, so if it can't equal, that's going to be an excluded value. Okay, so let's look at some examples. So if we have x plus 2 over x times 3 over x squared. So what happens here is we multiply x plus 2 times 3. So we get 3 times x plus 2. Now the reason why I changed the order is just because it's easier. It's not because it's necessarily that way. X times x squared. So when you multiply two numbers with powers, you add the power. So you get x cubed. So our answer would be 3x plus 2 over x cubed. Okay, that would be our answer. Okay, now let's look at okay, let's do some practice problems. Actually, do a division and then do practice problems. Okay, so if x over x minus 1 divided by 4 over x. Now, division is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal, so you multiply by x over 4. X times x is x squared. 4 times x minus 1 is 4x minus 1. Okay, and that would be our answer right there. Okay, we'll talk about excluded values in a minute, but first, we're just finding products. Okay? Oh, why can't d not equal 0 if it does not stay in the denominator? Because remember with excluded value, it's at the very start, okay? Human condition. What's the human so the denominator at the beginning can't be 0 because when it is 0, then there would be no solution from the very start. It's easier than the others. John, you be the decider of that after we finish, okay? Well, this is the first one you joined in the last few weeks. I mean, few days. So it might be helpful. X squared over 12x cubed. Why are there only 4 people watching this? I don't know. I've realized that some people don't have the same schedule. It's kind of what I've realized with, I mean, it is lunchtime. Okay, so with this, we multiply the top as fraction, we multiply the top, and we multiply the bottom. So the top is 2x squared times 6x squared. And the bottom is 3x times 12x cubed. So what we do here is we multiply the 2 times 6, and we get, apologies, 2 times 6, we get 12, and x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. Now, the bottom, 3 times 12 is 36, x times x cubed is x to the 4, because you just add powers. You could simplify the 4, but you don't want to make a mistake, especially when we start to see division. Okay. No, everyone else doesn't care about their grades. No, it's not true, Ezra. It's just some people can't attend or something. Okay, so now we simplify. So the x4 and x to the 4 cancel out because they're equal powers. Okay. 12 and 36 cancel, so we get 1 over 3. 1 over 3. And that would be our answer right there. Now, could you simplify this step right here? Yes, but you need to make sure this is is multiplication right there. Okay? No, it was actually because I was on the wrong page, Ezra. I was on the wrong page, so I was looking at it like, what am I going to do next? And then I was like, this is not the right page. Why am I over here? So, just letting you know, I was doing the math, I was just also, you're hearing Darth Vader breathing. Maybe that's me breathing. Okay. 2y cubed over 5y times 15y cubed over 8y to the 5th power. Okay, I want you to try this out. Oh yeah, the roosters. Maybe just strange. Maybe it's my computer. I need to That's our hood. I don't. Maybe I need to turn down. Here, I'll turn down the audio a little bit. Okay. Is that lessen the. No, we're not done for this lesson. This is a practice problem. Okay. So, multiply the top. You get 2 times 15, 30. Y cubed times y cubed is y to the 6th power, because you add exponents. 5 times 8 is 40. And y times y to the 5th is y to the 6th. Then we cancel. Cancel out the powers of y. Cancel out the 3 and the 4. You get 3, 4, 3 over 4. We divide it out. Okay. Let's go to example 2. So this is where the examples, you can decide whether this is easy or not. Okay. Yeah, it might be easy, or it might be a little more challenging. Now, I think, John, the reason why this is challenging is because we're not used to doing so many things together. Okay. 3x squared plus 3x over 4x squared minus 24x plus 36 times x squared minus 4x plus 3 over x squared minus x. Okay. It's only, let's just say you have 2 dislikes. I think maybe someone disliked my video, who knows. I don't see the dislikes. Oh, you have 2 dislikes? I don't understand. Okay, maybe it's because the lesson's not over. Okay, so we multiply the numerator, so we get 3x squared plus 3x, parentheses, times x squared minus 4x plus 3 over 4x squared minus 24x plus 36 and x squared minus x. Now, my channel is in crisis. What? Why is my channel in crisis? I don't understand. Oh, dear Lord. Okay, we're going to first factor out each parentheses, and then we're going to simplify. No, you need to first, well, could you simplify first? No, you could factor first, and then you could simplify it, and then you can multiply it. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to approach it this way. Okay, so we can factor off a 3x here. So we get 3x, and then this becomes x, and this becomes plus 1. This, if we factor it, what multiplies into 3 and adds into negative 4 would be x minus 3 times x minus 1. Now, the denominator, it's not necessarily more complex, it just looks more, it looks like there's more going on. Okay, so we can factor off a 4 here. And then if we factor the inside, we would get x squared minus 6x plus 9. And this is a squared number, that's squared, that's a times 2, so we get x minus 3 times x minus 3. Then this, we can factor out x, and we get x minus 1. Now we cancel out, we can move this to the front so it's not as confusing. So we get 4x. So x cancels out. X plus 1, there's nothing on the bottom similar to it. X minus 3, that and that cancel out. X minus 1, that and that cancel out. So the only things left, 3 times 3 over 4, and x plus 1 over x minus 3. So we rewrite it. At the top, we get, it's Schrodinger's box. We don't know if the cat is alive or dead in that box until we open it up. Okay, and there is our answer. Okay? Now, you can definitely simplify earlier. So, what's not really 50%? You lost your phone. How did you lose your phone? I mean, technically, Schrodinger's cat is about photons of light, whether they're a wave or a particle. Yeah. Anyway, okay. We'll digress. Okay. We'll do one more example, and then we'll see, you know what I realized with some of the students is they might not be awake right now because they had a test from 9 to 11. Schrodinger's Mr. David. Is Mr. David on campus or not? Trick question. He has never left campus. Okay, just kidding. I have left. The shame. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we have multiplication, except this looks different. The only difference is that this doesn't look like it's a fraction. With these kind of things, you just put a line underneath it and put a 1, because you can divide everything by 1. So you divide it by 1, and then it's the same thing. So 5x times x plus 3 over x plus x squared plus 5x plus 6. Times 1, but 1 doesn't matter. So then we factor the bottom. What goes into 6, multiplies into 6, and adds in 5. So we get 2 and 3. So we get x plus 2 times x plus 3. And then what can cancel? X plus 3 and x plus 3. So our final answer is 5x over x plus 2. Okay? Okay, that would be that question. So let's do 2 practice problems. Where are we with time? 23 minutes. Okay, we might be able to finish in less than 35 minutes, if we can. Probably not, let's be honest. Probably not, but you know. Okay, let's try 2 practice problems. So our 2 practice problems are x squared plus x minus 2 over x squared plus 2x times 2x squared plus 2x. 5x squared minus 15x plus 10. And the bottom is 2w squared over w squared minus 7w plus 12 times w minus 4. Okay, so the universe is given a choice if it's both options. No, that doesn't give us. No, it's not multiple universes theory. Okay, it's okay. We'll address it. Here are our 2. No, it's not universes. It's about how quantum physics is affected by observation. The universe splits. Wouldn't that just make it half universes, not 2 universes? Nah. Okay. Okay, try these out. Try these 2 problems out. And let me know what your solution is. I'll give you a minute because it's obviously too hard to do in like 20 seconds. So in the meantime, let's listen to a song we haven't listened to in a long time because I forget about it. Let's go with Jazzy Frenchy. Just kidding. I'll do a different one. I like this one. You guys are going to cause me so much problems in life with this. Okay. Well, actually, continue working as It's impossible that I have 27 subscribers. Yeah. I thought you said you were going to give me 2, so you gave me 2, and maybe a few other people gave me some. I mean, I would make my videos public, but I've learned that if I make my videos public, I'll probably get flagged for spam. So, we can multiply these two together, or the first thing you can do is you can factor them. But let's factor them first. So if you factor this, x squared plus x minus 2, you get x plus 2 times x minus 1. Okay. And on the bottom, if you factored off an x, you'd get x plus 2. If you factored this, you could factor off at 2x, and you'd get x plus 1. On the bottom, you can factor off 5, so you get x squared minus 3x plus 2. And this we could factor as minus 2 and minus 1, so we get x minus 2 times x minus 1. Okay, now can we simplify right now? Yes. That always hurts. Okay, can you simplify right away? Yes, or we can multiply first. So let's multiply first. So if we multiply first, we multiply the tops, we get 2x, then x plus 2. It doesn't matter order. I'm just ordering it this way for my own sake. I prefer to put whatever's not in parentheses in front. Same thing here, 5x. I'm going to put that in front. We get x plus 2, x minus 2, and x minus 1. So, what can cancel? Well, the x and x can cancel. The x plus 2 and the x plus 2, and the x minus 1 and the x minus 1. So what do we get? We get 2 over 5, x plus 1 divided by x minus 2. So our solution is, you guys are silly. Okay, x plus 1. I feel like this would be what you think in your head as we talk in class or as I lecture, but you have so much ability to, say the comments in your head now, okay? So if someone's watching this, after I've already uploaded the lecture, they can always pause the video and figure out what I did. Okay. Then the second question was 2w squared over w squared minus 7w plus 12 times w minus 4. So this, again, we just turned into a fraction by dividing by 1. Then you multiply, so you get 2w squared, w minus 4, over w squared minus 7w plus 12. This can be factored on the bottom. What goes into 12 and minus 7? So, Apostles' Creed right here. Is that Apostles' Creed? Yeah, that's Apostles' Creed. Yeah. Apostles' Creed, man. Where'd you learn the Apostles' Creed, Wunju? Okay. Then we get w minus 4 and times w minus 3 because that's what factors into this, and we cancel out the w minus 4, so we get 2w squared over w minus 3. And there's our solution right there. You thought, no, but I mean, where you learn, because a lot of people don't. Yeah. Oh, you memorize. Is it common in Korean churches to memorize the Apostles' Creed? I always wonder about that. Is it a common tradition? Okay, we're moving on to division. Okay. he actually, you know, never mind. I'll stop myself from going down that. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's not common for people to memorize the Apostles' Creed well, like, unless, you know, there's a reason behind it. So I was wondering, well, not common. Yeah, I guess it's not that common. Okay, so division, we just flipped this, so we get 7x squared minus 7x, so that stays the same. But when we divide by a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So the denominator becomes the numerator, and the numerator becomes the denominator. Now we have two options. Okay, so we're going to just factor these. So when you factor them, what goes into both 7x squared and 7x would be 7x. We would get x minus 1. And the denominator, what goes into, multiplies into negative 3 and adds into 2, we get x minus 1 times x plus 3. And then factoring this, what goes into negative 8 and into negative 7. So we get x minus 8, because negative 8, times x plus 1. And then in the denominator, we have x plus 1. Now, could you simplify this early, before you multiply? Yes, so you could cancel the things that work. But instead of doing that, we're going to just multiply across. So what we get is 7x, x minus 1, x minus 8, x minus x plus 1 over x minus 1, x plus 3 times x plus 1. So it cancels x minus 1, x minus 1, x plus 1, x plus 1. So we get 7x, x minus 8 over x plus 3. Okay, and that would be our solution. You don't need to multiply this out. Five, 4, 3, 9, 1. Are you like writing a phone number? Okay. Last one. Same fraction. It would be beneficial to write them. What do you mean by same fraction? Do you mean like the last step I did before I canceled? Oh, before multiplying. Yeah, so you don't have to do that. Yeah, you can simplify. You can simplify before multiplying. I even said that. You can simplify before multiplying, or you can multiply before simplifying. Yeah. Okay. So as division, as what we did with multiplication, we write it over 1. Then, now it's a fraction, we can use our division sign. So first you have to write it over 1, then you can use the division sign. So what happens when we divide? Well, it's multiplied times the reciprocal. Okay, and we just simplify the top. We can divide out at 2. So dividing out at 2, we get x squared plus 8x plus 12. What goes into 12? 3 and 4, 2 and 6. 2 and 6 add up to be 8. So we get 8x plus 2 times x plus 6. Yes, I am doing that quicker than usual. And then I'm going to just multiply the bottom, so we get 3x squared times x plus 6. Now, what can we cancel? Why Fibonacci? Oh, he just put it all together. Although he only got to 144. Okay, cancel out what's the same. So we get 2x plus 2 over 3x squared. And that would be our answer. Beautiful, simple answer. Yeah. So we're going to try 2 more problems, and we'll be done. Well, essentially Fibonacci, you just keep adding. So you add 88 plus 144, and you get 200 and what? 230? Yeah, 235. Okay. So 2 examples. M squared minus 4 over 2m squared plus 4m divided by 6m minus 3m squared. I don't know why they make it rearranged, so you have to arrange the numbers properly. And then 4m plus 44. Then this one, n squared minus 6n plus 9 over 12n divided by n minus 3. You said 88. But I used 8. Oh, yeah, it's 3. So it's 233. Okay. Arrange them for us. It's just one step. It's not that hard. All you have to do is move the ones that are bigger. Abbreviate 3.14. Huh? Okay. So I want you to try these out. There we go. I always forget the other approximants. Fraction. There we go. What's a beautiful one? Oh, 355 over 113. That's the one I always forget. 355 over 115. So you just do 355 over 115. 113. There we go. Such a good one. Okay. Rote approximation for you. Poof, 3. Abbreviate 3.14. Poof, 3. That was amazing. Okay, work this problem out. Then I think DP left. It was so first John left. No, first first Jackson left, then John left, then DP left, and then it's Wuju with Ezra with me, stuck in this lovely situation. Okay, I'm gonna play a very short song, finish up with this last thing. So we'll actually be under 45 minutes. What the goodness. So Okay, delta. Okay, let's work through them. So, first one, we have m squared minus 4. We can simplify that. Actually, first we divide, so we need to flip to make it into multiplication. So, m squared minus 4 over 2m squared plus 4m. And then this is multiplied by 4m plus 44. Of course, this can be rearranged, so I will. So negative 3m squared plus 6m. Okay, this, let me get a different marker. It's kind of dying, so. Just checking. Okay. Well, it's not exactly much better. We'll try red. Okay, m squared minus 4 could be factored into m plus 2, because you just square root the last number, and m minus 2. Okay, the denominator, we can factor out 2m and get m plus 2. Okay? Then we multiply by, we can factor off 4. So we get m plus 11 over, we can factor off negative 3, and we get m minus, we can factor off an m, negative 3m. So we get negative 3m, m minus 2. Now if we combine these, we're going to get 4 on the top, m plus 2, and times m minus 2, times m plus 11. And if we multiply the bottom, we get negative 6m, m plus 2, times m minus 2. And what can we cancel? The m plus 2 times m plus 2, m minus 2, and the m minus 2. So what we get is we get 4m plus 11 over, the 4 and the 6 can cancel, so we get 2 over 3. So then it becomes 2, 3m. So negative 2 times m plus 11 over negative 3m. Okay, and last question. Last question is n squared minus 6n plus 9 over 12n divided by n minus 3. So what we do is we first write it as a fraction, then when we divide, we multiply by the reciprocal, so n squared minus 6n plus 9 over 12n times 1 over n minus 3. Now we can factor this, so we get n minus 3 times n minus 3 over 12n times n minus 3. I just combine this because it's show the same. Okay, what can we factor? N minus 3, n minus 3. So we get n minus 3 over 12n. And that's our solution right there. Now we can't change anything else because everything else is, okay, I'm gonna, sorry Joe, that comment's gonna be removed. Okay, there we go. Beautiful, okay. It's the temptation to spam my chat, it's just too great. It's too great for temptation. Okay, and we are actually going to be finished here. That is the lecture for today. Do you have any questions? Oh, you have questions on 1A and 1B. So let's do that real quick. Here, open it up. Open homework 12. Okay, 1a, you're going to need to rearrange the bottom and factor off a negative. And the top needs to be simplified, factored off some number, 2. You need to factor off a 2 on 1a. So, the test for chapter 12 will be next Friday. Next Friday? Is it next Friday? Yeah, next Friday. That seems reasonable. So then you won't have any tests for math 11, 13, or 15. But we would have lectures over probability, just very, very brief lectures. And the grade would just be the homework assignment. Okay, so first, the top you factor up to 2, u minus 3. And the bottom, you're going to factor up a negative 1, so you get u minus 3. Then you can simplify. How many more lessons? So we have 12.6, 12.7. Then the test. The test could be Monday, actually. Like, not next Monday, but Monday the 11th. Actually, that's a good idea. So I have it Monday the 11th. That's a good idea. Okay. Anyway, you first find the excluded value in the denominator, and then you simplify this. Okay. Things that are the same, you cancel. And then B, 10x over 25. Can't simplify what you can. So you get 2 over 5. And can the denominator ever equal 0? No. So there is no EV. Okay, and that's 1B. Okay. Yep, it is the end of the lecture. Thanks you guys for joining. Peace, and have a great day.